Hey everybody, this one's for this one's for my plant friends. Been reading a little bit from this pharmacognosis book, and I just wanted to read a little intro chapter on the poisonous knowledge. This is for those seeking the poison path or utilizing the poison path. Pharmacognosy. Pharmacognosy. Sorry. Pharmacognosy. See, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Pharmacognosy. How about that? Pharmacognosy is the study of poisons and remedies. The emphasis on gnosis over logos connotes an experimental tradition based on more sampling and testing than on theory. Pharmacognosy is particularly focused on natural sources, minerals and venomous animals, but especially plants and plant poisons, the working material of the first science. Pharmacognosis, then, is poison knowledge or drug knowledge. In the sense of knowledge from drugs, rather than of drugs, it is the forbidden knowledge, but the knowledge with the powers to heal. The greatest poisons are mind poisons, those that destroy conceptions, unlearning everything you have been taught. In the dialectic, poison is the antithesis. We turn things upside down to find a new synthesis. This is the work of the alchemical furnace, the Athenor. It was called the Great Work. We call this process of unlearning the poison path. If, as Lao Tzu said, the true way cannot be defined, then if we consider our poison path to be any sort of a true way, it follows that our definitions will miss the point. But then again, why should anyone on the poison path worry about it being a true way? We learn to be aware of words, especially warm and fuzzy words, words of light as much as words of hatred, words of comfort and benevolence as much as words of like, virtue, patriotism, or justice. Trusting Lao Tzu, what we seek is more like a meandering stream, or like a playful animal, perhaps with large canines and hot breath, with a bushy tail and furry ears. Our animal doubts, and by most would be called foolish. If some study enlightenment, we study illusion. We seek medicine in the very poison that has seduced us. The mind, we might say, is too much with us, so let's heap on some more. The left-hand work. Whatever, on the poison path, don't expect to find any friends in the camps of true believers. Our traveling companions are the pharmaca. And I'll just go on to read this next part because it's really interesting stuff. You know, they're talking about utilizing poisons in a way that is beneficial. I guess it's kind of like tapping, some might say the dark side, but it's not the dark side, it's just another side. Many people have their own interpretations of the tree of knowledge. That's a perfect example for the symbology here. A tree of knowledge could very well be a mind-altering substance. I've heard of many different ideas of what it could be. I don't go as far as to try to pull the symbols out because there's too many, way too many. I've had folks that have told me, oh, well, this means this and this means this. Well, it does in some cultures. And in other cultures it means something else. So, plant teachers in the Path of Five. Plants were the first of Earth's creatures to establish extraterrestrial contact, beyond the sulfur vents and the acid radicals deep in bedrock, or at seafloor ruptures, the first to contact the greater cosmos. Intelligence collectors, electron transfer chains, up an entropic pathway, through latent complexities of space, a shamanic balancing act, at IAU. Plants are the placenta of animal life, from an ancient time before the humans were a wisp of dream in a chancy future. Out of excess and exuberance, a great swirling and a song arose. Katydids, cicadas, munching on green. Autophagia, really, or eating the god. And the gods fought back. Alkaloids, CNS poisons, tryptamines, beta-carbolines, lioness snaking from the canopy, fungi garnered the recycling trade, partnerships, parasites, nothing standing still. Oils, terpenes, carbohydrates, proteins in the main course of the teachings. And beyond, like a graduate school, secondary metabolites, the poisons, the medicine. Ye shall not eat of it, neither ye shall touch it, lest ye die. The original prohibition, our first drug law. To plant people everywhere, certain plants are regarded with a special reverence, the sacred plants sharing something of a godly nature. That which had been attacked, that which resisted, the rebels, thus far and no farther shall come. Plants represent immediacy, a seamless suchness, no comments, no philosophizing, no rationalizing, just the fact. The Buddha once preached a whole sermon by holding aloft a flower. Kasyapa understood and smiled. We can find the songs in ethnopoetics, or hear the prayers from those who have maintained the archaic connection, but it's all in Milton. O sacred, wise, and wisdom-giving plant, mother of science, now I feel thy power, within me clear, not only to discern things and their causes, but to trace the ways of highest agents, deemed however wise. There was a great taming, leaching of the tannins, or cooking of the cyanide, acorns, cassava, breeding the tame ones, women's work, root gatherers and kitchen chemists. A few of the god plants enter the chagra, the circle, like a barbarian nomad, finding a fertile valley. But mostly they stayed wild, became a specialty of these daring to eat wildness, the bitter. These were the plants with a voice, the tree of knowledge. I did not read that before. I don't know how it came in. I figured it would. On a large bronze door cast around 1020 in the Cathedral of Hildesheim, the tree has a mushroom shape. It may be modeled after a daisy or the abundant local mayweed, Anthemis, a small nub of disc flowers, the ray petals drooping, or perhaps a Debly Lepiota L. castanea, or, some say, Silicybe salimensatia. In a fresco on the ceilings of Romanesque, those are mushrooms by the way, for those who don't know Silicybe. In a fresco on the ceiling in the Romanesque church in Saint Savin of central France, the tree resembles Amanita muscaria, with the tiny fruit hanging from the cap. This is perhaps a Byzantine stylization of a date palm. Or is it? Eve has many depictions, sometimes thin, sometimes fleshy or nubile, sometimes like Isis. On the north portico of the Gothic cathedral in Reims, she cradles a small reptilian creature in her arms, tenderly. Blake made her voluptuous. From a distance, his painting of Eve accepting the apple from the mouth of the serpent looks like an act of fellatio. Eve's hand caressing the serpent's head, like the head of a penis. At Notre Dame, it's threesome, our loving forebears joining their hands together around the serpent's arboreal phallus. Eve's way, the one who dared and the one who shared, the goddess protector of the poison path. Fascinating. So, Eve is also Pandora, the gifted and all-giving, poisoned apple, poisoned gift, all the sorrows of life, and on the great wheel becoming. Poison and medicine are samsara, and nirvana, forever wedded, the pharmacon. In an African version of the Pandora story, what was left at the bottom of the casket was a gourd of beer, that given by the gods. Enthusiasm is ebriety, God within, entheos. And the term entheogen is used as a drug that gets a person, or a plant that gets a person closer to the gods, or the all-knowing. A playfulness in the sacrament within the poison, a gift. The truth, as glimpsed by Hegel, is thus the bacchanalian revel, where not a member is sober, hence dialectic, a fugitive quality, beyondness. Atlanta fleeing, the great matter, ultimate seriousness, but it never quite stops dancing. We can point to it, we can present it, but in the end, it refuses definition, and we are grateful. So, I know that that's written in a poetic fashion, and sometimes it's kind of hard to decipher, especially the way I read it when I just woken up and my eyes aren't quite working, nor my voice. But the whole idea behind many of these cultures, many of these stories, many of these texts, these things were written out with many descriptions of altered realities or inebriated experiences. And it's kind of like the soma. The soma was used as a term for the drink that a culture consumed, or the drug that a culture consumed. People have thought soma was a mushroom. Some people think it's another alkalotic plant. Some people think that it's something yet undiscovered. But the idea that every culture had some sort of a psychedelic, some sort of there's, terpenes and beta-carbolines and alkaloids, so many different chemical constituents of plants that allow us to observe different effects. And I know a lot of folks are very opposed